Hello, everybody. It's been a whole 2 years since I've stood in front of people and spoke. So this is special, right? It's unfortunate that this is happening today when there's load shedding. So we're going to have to excuse that. A lot of people are going to have to walk in slowly but surely. I've walked around and I've asked a small group of people to cheer loudly for me, to faint and make as if I'm doing amazing. So thank you, thank you. It's the first time in 2.5 years, so I need something. As most of you know, my name is Artwell. I am the head of creative for Sub-Saharan Africa. And basically what I do is I help media agencies, creative agencies, and clients make awesome creative. But the difference in what I do than most people do is it's a strong focus and a strong lens on impact. It's all about being measurable and making sure that we're creating data-driven creative. So a lot of you already know me. A lot of you I work with. There are a couple of you who are like, no, this can't be his real name, Artwell. He does Artwell, creative. You're doing the maths. Yes, it is true. That is my name. It's Destiny, and I'm rocking it. So, I am on fire. I think we should just end right now because it can only go downhill from here. So, as you all know, we're talking about the ABCDs today. ABCDs is a framework that is like the foundation of the whole creative ecosystem at Google. It's a framework that helps you be able to develop better for the platform, right? What's nice about the ABCDs, while it's great for the platform, it's actually great for video as a whole. So this is very, very impactful stuff, and I hope you learn something from it. But before we get started, I want us to play a little game, and don't worry, you don't have to do anything. I'll do all the parts in the game. So the game is called What's Changed Since 1999? Like this handsome young man here, and this handsome older man here. For those of you who can't see it, that's me, right? And some of you are also calculating, was he really that old in 1999? Let it go. I'm just making a point, right? In 1999, it took 41 seconds for Google to load on the interwebs. Today, it's only 3 seconds. In 1999, 32 inches was the preferred way of watching content, especially premium content. Today, it's only 3 inches. In 1999, big production was the only way you could get really good content. It had to be shot, there had to be lighting, and all that kind of stuff. Today, all you need is phone, Wi-Fi, and a super hot idea. In 1999, I'm loving the ahs, it's just amazing. In 1999, prime time was the only time you could watch the best content. And I know some of you watched Generations, Achimoroka, 8 o'clock, all right? 1999, that was the only time you could watch the best of the best content. Today, prime time is any time and it's in your pocket. In 1999, how we viewed content is gum here. In 1999, how we viewed content was very passive. So we laid on the couch and it was just thrown at us, and we just took what we were getting. Today, we are ultra picky because we've got too many options. In 1999, our attention span was substantially longer. Apparently, it was 12 seconds. I don't know who did that calculation, but somebody said it, so it must be true, right? Today, our attention span is shorter. Not because we're dumber, it's because we've got more options. What's not changing? Like this guy here. So, all ads are skippable, right? And I'm not just talking about digital. TV, remote, I change the channel when your ad comes on if I'm not captivated properly. Billboards, if I'm not interested, I'm not going to bother looking. Magazines, just flip over if you don't capture my attention. Facebook, scroll past. YouTube, I think we've probably got the most obvious way of skipping, is the skip button, right? And that's what makes creative so important, as Mzamo highlighted earlier on. There's a lot of studies like this, and this is probably one of the latest one, which is from Kantar, where they looked at, what drives brand sales lift. 49% of all brand sales lift comes from creative. This is huge, right? It's not something that we can just walk past. What this means is that if you are not doing good on this side of the world, all this falls flat. You can optimize as hard as you want on the media side. If your creative is not good, it falls flat. Now, what do I mean by good creative? Good creative still has all the elements that we traditionally know, right? That's Is it a good idea? Does it tie to the strategic thought and all those kinds of things? But then there's still that one little pillar that a lot of people are not doing. A good creative idea is a creative idea that conforms to different platforms, right? So you're not just taking one TV asset and throwing it across all digital platforms, right? So, and this is so true now because, as you know, obviously, the way people are consuming is changing by the day. And creative needs to adopt to those changes every single day. So this is where the ABCDs kick in, right? So the ABCDs are, A is for attention. Remember, we've got the skip button. How do you capture attention from the onset? How do you hook people and make them want to watch more? B is for branding. It's very easy to brand badly and get people to skip you, right? Because since the 1960s, when TV started really blasting adverts at us, the framework of TV ads has been the same through and through. You start the ad, you have the brand at the end. And if people start to see that pattern, it's a trigger for me to skip because it's fixedness. It's, I know that this is something that I've seen before. Then the last one is connection. This is probably the most important one for most advertisers, is how do you get me to watch from 1 second to 5 seconds and to the end? That's the one that most people want to know about. And then the last one is direct. How do you direct people to then do what it is you want them to do? So the ABCDs is by no means a thumbsuck or guessing from our part. What we've looked at is over 25,000 ads, ran a whole lot of experiments. We looked at things like what drives awareness, what drives consideration, what drives recall. We looked at what makes people skip ads. We looked at what makes people not skip ads. But then also we had to test certain things that we couldn't find in the real world. Like random things like a black and white ad versus a color ad, which one drives more brand recall? Or if an ad is paced fast versus an ad that's paced slow, which one are people most likely to watch the end? If you want to know the answer to that, it's the fast-paced one. So we looked at a whole lot of things like that, and then we took all that and then crafted it into this easy-to-understand framework. Now, does it work? Recently, a study was done, and we found that it actually does work when you use the ABCDs. So what we found is that there's a 30% lift in short-term sales likelihood and a 17% lift in long-term brand contribution. So it does work. But having said that, it's important to note that these are not rules. A world where there is rules for creativity is a world where there is no creativity. They are not rules at all. And I have to say this like a couple of times because I've sat in meetings. The last one was literally 2 days ago where the creatives were saying, you're making too many rules. These are not rules. These are merely recommendations based on data that we found. And we'll continue to find more of these touch points over the years, and we'll just keep sharing them. You can find one thing that works for you in the ABCDs and do that really well. Or you can find 5, but do not turn this into a checklist. The next thing to also note is that there is no silver bullet in this. So it's not a matter of just doing it and it'll work. You have to test and learn and see what happens for you. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. But wait, hold on, before we start. Later on, we have a little bit of an activity. So I'm going to play you a video. I want you to watch that video. Try to remember as much of it as possible. There's some prizes linked to watching this video. No pressure. And then from there, I'll start the ABCDs.
Don't you hate it when you just get stuck? You try this, you try that. Nothing seems to work. You ask the internet. Nothing. You ask the internet again, but differently. Maybe you even ask an actual human. Nobody seems to know.
How can I get the help I need? I'm stumped.
That's how I was. And then I found the thing.
Looks like a box.
It's not. Well, it is a box, but that's not the thing. It's the thing. And the thing about the thing is it unsticks the stuck no matter how stuck you are.
I want one.
Of course you do. It's the thing.
Remember this. There will be prizes linked to it. So we're going to get started with the ABCDs. We're going to start with A, which is attention. So the first and most obvious thing that we think about as advertisers placing our content on the platform is the skip button. How do we get past that? How do we get people to watch? Now, we've given you 5 seconds to audition. And a lot of the times when people put stuff on our platform, they don't think of it that way. They don't think of the 5 seconds as an opportunity to audition to your audience. And that's what you should be actually doing. And the first point within attention is jumping in and getting straight to it. And why is this important? Is a lot of the time, the ads that we receive are TV ads. TV ads are built for a captive audience. What that means is that there's an assumption that for some odd reason they're chained to their chairs and they can't move and they're going to watch your ad from the beginning to the end. So what you do is you start really, really slow, and then you build up, and then you have a climax in the middle, and then you close down and you close off the ad. And it's great. I mean, it works, right? TV shows work like this. Movies work like this. It's a hill story arc. It's okay, right? But for digital, majority of the people who are watching on our platform, and it's actually 70% of the people who are watching on our platform, are watching on mobile devices. And the last thing that they have time for is waiting for a slow lead-in. You know, the car driving in the hill, and then you've got that beautiful scene. They don't have time for that. What we recommend is you bring the dessert right up front. You front-load your story arc, and you open up with the impact. Now, for a lot of brands, that's not possible because, I mean, if you're an insurance company, that's really hard. You know, you can't have like machine guns and Rambo jumping out selling you Omo, you know? But what you can do is use the most compelling parts of the ad. The most compelling parts of the ad can be a compelling price point. It could be a funny joke. It could be a cute baby. Whatever it is, watch the ad and bring that to the front. And what you'll notice about what I'm saying here is I'm not saying go shoot another ad. I'm actually saying take that TV ad and just re-edit it so that you bring the most compelling parts right up front. But if you want to guarantee being skipped, take a TV ad as is. Take it as is. That's actually probably like, remember I said to you not tick checkboxes? This is a checkbox. Because people are going onto YouTube to enjoy a moment, maybe in between work, in between church for some lazy people. But it happens, right? You just, you know, an ad pops up, and if it starts off slow, it's really off-putting and people will skip. So start early, get into the story much, much, much more sooner, and try bring some desserts, which I like to say, right at the front. The next bit is using audio and supers to amplify your story. So when we talk about supers, we're actually talking about like big chunks of text. And you'll see that this is actually a pattern that we're going to see across the ABCDs. Use big chunks of text, like 2 or 3 pieces of text, and a voiceover says it on top of it. So we call this see and say, right? So, you know, in stores now, you have that in big, bold text, and then you have a voiceover said. We've seen this to be a big amplifier of performance. Again, not all concepts will work with this kind of strategy. It's only when you have that kind of opportunity. But if you really want to land specific points, and I'll give you an example. If you're in banking and there's some complicated terms that you want to throw through, have those being seen and said. This one is a big one. Like I mentioned to you earlier on, 70% of the people who watch on our platform are watching on mobile devices. So that means we actually need to build for mobile devices. And that's why if you're going to take a TV ad, place it on the platform, this is another reason why you're going to get skipped. Now, there are 2 things that you want to do when you're optimizing for the platform. The first one is frame for small screens, right? So what I mean by that is, you know, frame. So if somebody's talking, zoom into them. Obviously, you don't want the whole ad to be super zoomed in. You need to find those key moments. So it's product usage, right? Key moments when a joke's being said, when you're showing the logos and all those kinds of things. But what's important to note is that a lot of the time, we assume that everybody has got the smartphones that we have with the gigantic screens. Especially in this continent, we're finding that there are people who have mobile devices where the screen, when held this way, is the size of a matchbox. So again, if you're going to open up with that car, driving up the hill far away with the beautiful sunset, if I can't see it, I'm not going to bother to readjust. I'm just going to skip the ad. The next bit is contrast, right? Contrast is a very big piece of when people get skipped, right? A lot of the times when our mobile devices are pre-set up, and it's not even by ourselves, they're set to auto dim. And if that's not the case, for those who are a little bit more tech savvy, we'll then set it to be dim and save battery life. If you've got this beautiful, moody, dark video, you're asking to be skipped. You have to have contrast. There has to be rich color. There has to be, it has to be dynamic and all those kinds of things. This one also, like I said before, there's no checklist. This one is actually very important. This one is another one that will guarantee you to get skipped. While on TV, it works beautifully because you've got that big screen and you're probably in a well-lit environment. Nobody carries their TV on the taxi and watches it. So you're never going to have a situation where the light is too bad. So that works, but not on mobile devices. So that's A, right? Now that's how we get you at the beginning and make sure that you can get past the 5-second mark. And that's probably one of the biggest hurdles that advertisers need to get through. And the stuff that we're asking for is not too complicated and not too expensive because we're not saying reshoot. We're just saying optimize in such a way that you're building for the platform. The next one is branding. So this one also speaks to the fact that a lot of the times when we build in the same way that we've built TV ads since the 1960s. We're building for a captured audience that we're making assumptions will never move. So how do we make our ad? We do the ad and then we dedicate the logo or the branding to right at the end. Right? That's building for a captive audience. What you need to remember, like I mentioned to you early on, is that we're dealing with a very picky audience. They move around very, very quickly. So we need to move as quickly as they do. So we always recommend that you need to brand at the beginning, especially if you're doing the upper funnel stuff. Why do you need to brand at the beginning? Notice I'm not saying logo, I'm saying brand, and I'll emphasize exactly what I mean by that. So in the first 5 seconds, you are going to get people who are going to skip you. It's just the way it is, right? You want to limit that number, but people are going to skip you. For those who have skipped, you might as well leave them with something. Have some kind of brand recall left there. Remember that when people skip your ad, if it's a TrueView ad, you don't pay for it. So it's a free 5-second ad. Why not take advantage of that? Now, how you do the branding is a different story, and it's different for different brands. I'll give an example. Nike, they can open up with a big black screen and a Nike tick 2 seconds on screen, and we'll all watch it because we know this is going to be a beautiful story, because that's just the way the brand works. But if you're the municipality of Komandiport, and you think that you're going to get people, you're going to do the same thing, it's not going to work. And it's really about you understanding what you are to your brand. And I've had some hard conversations with clients where, the brand is not as exciting as a Nike, but they insist that they are. You actually have to be honest with yourself on that. So, in a situation where you are working in Komandiport municipality, what you want to do is start to play around with using different branding tricks, right? Things like product placement, maybe subtle mentions via voiceover, the colors, if the municipality has a mascot, bring that in, right? But be subtle about it. You also don't want to be overt. But if you can't do any of those, logo in the top right-hand corner is always going to be the best. Smaller logo in the top right-hand corner. Never here, here, or here. Why? Because we've got UI interfaces that will cover the logo. Skip button will cover here. There's an interface that covers there, and sometimes a call to action overlay that can cover there. That is the safest place. That's if you can't do any of those other branding tricks. The next bit is reinforcing brandings with audio mentions. So like I mentioned to you earlier on, this is a pattern that we see a lot, where we talk about using audio to reinforce what we're trying to say, right? So if we see the logo plus a voiceover saying it, this works really, really great, right? It's a great, especially if you're measuring brand lift and you're doing an upper funnel campaign. Works super, super powerful. Again, whilst this is not a checklist thing, it's the much more easier of the things to do, but definitely worthwhile trialing and testing. The next thing is about drawing on your branding assets, and I kind of touched on it 2 slides back. So what we've noticed on the platform is that if you overwhelm your ad with lots of logo all over the place, that can also cause skipping. And especially if you're not the kind of brand like Nike where you can overtly be loud about it. What we recommend is what I was saying to you earlier on, is utilizing all the tools and the tricks that you have that say that this is the brand. So it's your mnemonics, your mascots, your colors, and anything that says who you are without actually having to overtly constantly show your logo. Again, if you can't do it, the safest thing that you can do is then place the logo in the top right-hand corner. And then you've got my attention. You've branded in a way that's meaningful, right? And I think this is once you've got past those 2 bits there, you've got past the really hard bits. But this is the bit where a lot of people get challenged, is connection. how do you get me connected and get me to watch for longer periods of time? There's a study done in the United Kingdom where they looked at TV ads and they wanted to find out between rational ads that have a rational offering, like buy now, get now, versus ads that have more of an emotional pull, which one of those, which one of these types of ads is most likely to get engagements and perform well? The ones that performed the best were the ones that had an emotional offering. And the reason for this is for obvious reasons, right? We're more likely to remember anything that's got emotion. If you make us laugh, releases dopamines, we're going to remember that better. And the same goes for, just for general engagement, right? Because I remember it, I'm more likely to act on what I've seen. So one of the most powerful things that you can do is using emotion, but on top of that, utilizing humans who look like me and you. This is an interesting one because it's a new one for us, right? Using people who look like everyday people has been seen to perform quite well. What's even more interesting on top of this is using a diverse audience works quite well also. Why? We're not quite sure. We're trying to figure out exactly what the reasons is, but it works really, really well. But on the flip side of it, what we've also noticed is that celebrities at the beginning of an ad are also a great way of driving people to watch past the 5-second mark. I don't know how you combine those two, but creatives, you'll figure it out, right? But a very, very interesting one on that front. The next one is then focusing on the message. Remember that you're working on digital. One message is always going to be much more impactful, right? If you're going to have a short video, like a 6-seconder to 15-seconder video, that's critical. It has to be just one message. Once you get longer, you can start playing with subtle sub-messages, but they must link directly to that main message, and they must always link back. On digital, people, we can't afford to confuse people with lots and lots of pieces of information. And like I mentioned to you earlier on, the emotional story levers are very, very impactful. Now, I know that not all ads can be emotional, but something that works equally as powerful as emotion is suspense. And that's where the 5 seconds works quite nicely also. So if you open up with a compelling question or something that gets people intrigued, it's really, really powerful and gets people to watch for longer periods of time. Now, while we're in the connect phase, I just wanted to share with you a little rule which works really quite powerful when it comes to the connect phase. Remember that short is for remind. So short videos is for reminding, is for reach. Long is for changing minds. So this completely debunks the argument that you can't have short ads on YouTube. You can have an ad on YouTube that's 2 minutes long and will drive high consideration. So remember, short is for remind, long is for changing minds. Then the last one is direct. How do you direct people in a way that's meaningful and thoughtful? So the first one is we found that majority of the ads on YouTube don't have a call to action. Most importantly, if they do, they don't have a very clear one. What we recommend is that regardless of where you're on the funnel, to always have a call to action and always have one call to action. If you're at the bottom of the funnel, utilize a call to action specifically. If you're at the top of the funnel, use something that we call a call to explore. Call to explore is learn more, find out more. Call to action is buy now, get now. That's the much more stronger one. In the middle of the funnel, that's when you utilize a combination of both. The next one is supercharging your call to actions. If you're going to, with the audio, if you're going to use a voice, this is powerful, right? To say out your call to actions. This is one of those that I strongly recommend. But you're noticing one thing here is that a lot of the times we're saying that see and say is just super powerful. If I see it and you say it, it's great. So in summary, these are the ABCDs. A is for attract. How do you capture attention? B is for brand, and how do you brand in a meaningful and thoughtful way? C is for connection. How do you get me watching from beginning to the end? And then D is for direct. How do you direct me and get me to do what it is that you want me to do? But this can't be achieved if you're not testing. And it's easy for me to say that you must go ahead and test. I have to show you how to do it, right? So there's something called the audience retention curve. This can be found in Google Ads or in your YouTube page. And what it does is that from a second by second, it shows you the seconds of the video, and you can see how the people are reacting to your ad. So you can see here from the first 5 seconds, nobody is skipping. It's a flat line. After 5 seconds, they start dropping off. What makes this tool interesting is that you can start to see points where there's problems. So here on this specific video, there's actually a moment where the video spikes up. So people dropped off. Here, there's another drop off. This is when I think the voiceover kicks in and gets very, very sales pitchy. Another drop off here. What's nice about this is that you can take the video down and fix it because you can see the problems. But what's even more interesting that we're seeing here is we're seeing that people are launching their TV ads on YouTube to get this information. Then they're optimizing and putting it on TV. What that means is that we are all acknowledging that high-pitched volume and annoying voiceover is equally as annoying on TV as it is on YouTube. And this is why it's super powerful. The problem is the people who've got access to this most of the time is the media agencies. We need the creative agencies to also have access to this. We need the creatives to see this, because if you can see that this is what's happening with your assets, you can fix it. I just need to show you one more. This is what happens when you put a TV ad on YouTube. So you opened up with a beautiful Cape Town scene, driving up the hill, and then, bah, gone, right? So that's me. Thank you so much. That's the ABCDs. You are too kind. Thank you so much. All right, so something happened there. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to play this video again. While I'm playing it, Gwabna's going to come join us, and we're going to play a little game where there's going to be a couple of prizes.
Don't you hate it when you just get stuck? You try this, you try that. Nothing seems to work. You ask the internet. Nothing. You ask the internet again, but differently. Maybe you even ask an actual human. Nobody seems to know.
How can I get the help I need? I'm stumped.
That's how I was. And then I found the thing.
Looks like a box.
It's not. Well, it is a box, but that's not the thing. It's the thing. And the thing about the thing is it unsticks the stuck no matter how stuck you are.
I want one.
Of course you do. It's the thing.
Cool. So I hope you're paying attention. We are going to have a Kahoots. Now, you're all here because you survived the global pandemic, so well done. You're also here because you're in the creative industry, so these things mean that you've probably used a Kahoot a time or two. And if not, go to kahoot.it, and all the information should be fairly straightforward. We lost my screen. So while I was doing that, I'm sure you're all going on your phones to jump on Kahoot.it. We're going to go through a couple of questions, I think 8 in total. They'll be based loosely on what Artwell's already gone through. So you should all be well versed on what we're looking for. There are prizes. We're looking for engagement. We're looking for high energy. And also, when you choose your names, like, make them interesting. Don't have boring names like Kwabna. Like, you know, jazz it up. Your creative industry, I want it to be reflected by the names that come up here. So if we'd like to hit start, then people can start loading up.
All right, the pin's going to kick in just now. I bet you weren't expecting a pop quiz, huh? All right,
If Artwell is anywhere near as good a teacher as you guys make out with your cheering and whooping, everyone should get prizes.
Make me look good, everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
The Prince, the new queen, controversial. I like that though. I like it bold. It's good.
Sneaky. Come on, Joby.
I mean, some of these.
You actually put your real name. Where are you?
There's some stories here, man.
Come on, Joby. At least Joby won Kenobi. That would have been cool.
Marilyn Monroe's made a comeback.
Uncle Pancakes. Yeah, no, that definitely,
that's a good one.
that rocks, yeah.
I like that.
Who's Joby's boss? That's hilarious. Are you on the, do you want the password? For the Wi-Fi, you sorted? Okay. Miss S.A. Nice. Marilyn Monroe. Dig it.
You guys have really understood the brief, which would make sense, to be honest, but yeah.
Is everybody on? Okay, we'll give you a few more seconds.
As soon as we have to wait longest for your name, it needs to be amazing when it comes on. No pressure.
No pressure at all.
Yeah. I do wish Kahoot had different music though.
Yeah, I guess it's okay.
There's a lot more that could be done with this.
I think that the last Kahoot I held, somebody had a really clever name, well, to them, and it was I Love Instagram. I was like, really? This is
I love
a
Instagram.
YouTube event.
You're good, I would have kicked them right out.
Are you still struggling? Are you good?
We're having more and more people that's like jumping up here.
Alright. Almost there. Okay, we're gonna have to start in like 10 seconds.
Waiting for this one last name, it's like the height of inclusivity. This is great.
I think we're gonna have to start because we're running out of time. Yeah, you guys, you can share if you win the prizes. There we go.
All right. Cool. So ready to hit start?
Are we good?
You good? Are you in?
All right. Amazing.
Just in the nick of time. So we're gonna kick off with a warm-up question. I think it's gonna be really obvious that I didn't write these questions. So I'm gonna start off with this poll. Finish the sentence. This little chap is adorable, too cute, magnificent, amazing. Please pick the right answer.
There
guys.
is no wrong answer here.
Oh gosh.
I'm loving it. Well
Right.
done, everybody.
Yeah. Well, at least we know how Kahoot works now. So, what is one of the reasons that people would skip this advert? Video starts with a hook. Video is not framed for mobile. Video features less than 3 people. Video starts with no hook.
18 seconds.
There are wrong answers in this question, by the way. So.
Five, 4, 3. There we go.
Video starts.
Okay, it's amazing. I did a good job, man.
Yeah, you did it. You did okay. You did it okay. So, who got that right? And trust me, if you lie about it, it's gonna come on the next screen. So, lovely lady in the hat. Just put your hand out. You get it right. Cool.
The new
so
queen.
Could you describe to me what a good hook is?
You get a prize, even if
get
you
a
guess,
prize, yeah.
even if you get it wrong.
No pressure. This lady with the hat here.
Let me just
At least you're making notes. I like that. That's good.
I'll give you an example. Anything that's exciting. In fact, you can just repeat what I said.
So I noted so many things. I actually noted like colors, contrast, and all of that.
Okay.
But I think a good hook is putting something there that's very interesting, like a baby, like something that would actually capture.
You have been to the Artwell School of YouTube. A very avid student.
Thank you.
Give that person a
Yes,
prize.
yes. Give that one a prize.
Nice. So, for this specific ad, they talk about the thing, and they've got this bug that they show us at the end, right? Do you believe that by bringing this box up front would be a stronger hook than how they started? Give this person a prize. So go to the next one. True or false? The branding appears only at 26 seconds. Is this good creative best practice? So the first time that he mentions the thing, which is the brand, it's only at 26 seconds. Yes, let's not forget the prize here. All right,
It's
7
like 2 years
seconds.
ago on the Kahoot.
All right, amazing. Okay, so who got it right? At the back there. All right, why? I mean, not why. How would they better have done this? Should they put the branding right at the end, or should they put it? Give that person a prize. Don't forget this. Don't forget the prize here also. And at the back there.
I'm really interested on who got it wrong. Can we talk or we? This is a safe place, you know. Make mistakes in here so you don't make them out there. It's fine. It's fine. Okay.
Mrs. A, doing well.
Let's see if she'll stay there. Next, please. Finish the sentence. The pace of the advert will drive people nuts. Will drive people to watch the ad longer. Will drive people to skip the ad. Will drive people to purchase. This is actually one of your harder ones, actually, to be honest, Artwell.
Yeah.
I feel like you put a bit of effort into this one.
I can't just be giving away free things. They have to be earned.
Cool.
Oh, this is amazing. I am doing so well, man.
Okay. So look, we have a skip button. It's like one of the most famous things on YouTube, but there's a lot that can be achieved in those first 5 seconds, right? So on the retention curve, we saw how quickly it drops off. What do you think are? Give me 2 things you can do in your first 5 seconds to keep people engaged. Let's see, someone who got it right. Who got it right? Yes. You wanna hand your mic? Makes professional, gives you gravitas. Grab that mic and yep, do it.
You can speed up the pace or you can build some suspense.
Suspense.
Yeah.
Suspense is a good one. Yeah, it doesn't actually get raised very often, but I think suspense is really good. I think it's a bit like a Quentin Tarantino movie. Like if you chop it around and put the back at the front and blah blah, but make it really engaging initially, people are hooked in and they want to see what happens next. So suspense is a really good one. That's a good one. Give that lady a prize. Please.
I'm gonna tag onto his question, and I'm gonna see if anybody has another version that we can capture. There we go, down there. He's your friend. This feels like.
Never seen it in my life.
Feels like you guys planned this.
I don't know what
and you guys look the same also.
Oh yeah, all bald guys with glasses in the same, Artwell.
Go ahead.
Unbelievable.
You can use supers or like subtitles.
Give that person a prize. Nobody's.
I didn't tell him that, but yeah, well done. Good answer.
So he's right, because you wanna. When you do see and say, it's a great way of multiplying that performance of people remembering those specific points. So fantastic. Okay, so BH is up in the lead. Miss SA seems to have disappeared into the ether.
Oh, Marilyn.
Where's Marilyn? Oh, I'm assuming that's you, right? All right. We'll keep an eye out for Marilyn then. Next one. All right, the ad features a clear call to action. True or false? So at the end of the ad, did you feel like, I know what I need to do next? I'm nailing it today. All right, yes, it doesn't feature a clear call to action. It pretty much just ends like a lot of ads that we see today. You assume that you've told everybody what they need to know, they'll figure out the rest. We need to be much more intentional about call to actions. So there's a lot of you who got it right. I'm hoping these 3 people are brave. Who got it wrong? No, you couldn't have got it wrong. Okay. Okay, this is great because he's one of our panelists. And
classic.
So he might have a good one. Let's hear it.
So I think call to actions are relative, right? Depending on what you're doing. Let's just say, now bear with me to my media friends, is that your objective is reach, right? Not engagement. So you bought that ad unit based on a specific objective. So your call to action is engage, and you're not obviously speaking to an engagement audience. Sorry, let me rephrase it. If you're trying to access reach and your audience is engaging, they're not going to engage. So your call to action is null and void. So technically, in this case, if your objective is reach, you've reached them with a message about this thing. Full stop.
I think that's an amazing point. Very, very strong. And you're actually correct to a certain extent, especially on the shorter videos, like bumpers and the likes. But we've actually found that even on reach ones, to have a call to explore or something, that's just almost as like a primer for what could happen next. And that's why we don't call specifically for hard call to actions like buy now, get now. But you are correct, especially when you're saying the relative. But give him a prize.
Got to ask the question.
Oh, go ahead.
Who got it right?
Oh, you've won a
Can we
prize
give
already.
this lady here the microphone, please? Yeah. You had your hand up and it got really surprised when I pointed at you. Like, who, me? Yeah, you. If you could give me one example of a call to action and one example of a call to explore, please.
A call to action could be sign up, and then a call to explore could be like learn more or find out more.
Amazing.
One of your best students, man. Give this lady a prize. Let's
Right.
see how the leaderboard has changed.
So BH has dropped. Marilyn Monroe is gone. Sam. Daniel, nice one. And Mosi is climbing up. All right. Let's go to the next one, number 6. Where are 70% of people watching YouTube? Is it on mobile devices? Is it on laptops? Is it on connected TVs? Is it at home? Well done. Okay, I'm really nailing it today.
This is your real peak.
It is. Question, right? You all got it right, so who wants to answer the question? Because it's pointless just asking who got it right. Anybody? That's the part. I want to catch you out. Okay, there, at the back.
Yes, what's your question?
Okay, I'm trying to see who it is. It's Joby. Okay, all right, cool. Joby.
First of all, who's my boss in this room? I'm trying to figure that out. Oh, it's you! We need to talk about my package after this.
So Joby, because we built for mobile devices, name one thing that is important to do when you're editing for mobile devices.
Oh, make sure your grade is not too dark.
Love it. Give that man a prize. All right. Cool. Should we go to the next one? Courtney, you're in the lead. Let's go.
What percentage of brand sales lift comes from creative? Is it 49%, 39%, 99%, or 59%? I mean, this is the easiest. No pressure. I don't want anyone to get it wrong. Someone say I already did. Oh, sad state of affairs.
I mean, that image should kind of tell you.
Oh, well, if a single person gets this wrong.
I know.
It's a massive reflection on your ability to reach out.
Nice.
Wow, 59%.
Okay, well, no, this is okay. The one I was looking for was 99%. If somebody had said 99%, that would have been. But the other ones, it's okay. I mean, it's the 3 people got it wrong. It's fine. Go ahead.
Just patting yourself on the back. It's really good. So look, creative is one of the last few unfair advantages that we can have in marketing. You buy your media space, and then it's about what you do with that space. Make sure that when people come there, they can engage with you, tell a story in a really engaging and interesting and creative way, and that's what keeps them around. I want to ask you guys, if you had to pick one of the ABCDs that you think is most impactful for the work that you do, or your particular client, business, whatever it is, what would that be? Let's see, who got it right? Anyone?
Daniel?
Yeah. Pass in the mic.
Yeah, I would say the attention is one of the most important. I mean, it's the first one, but it is important. If you lose them there, then you lose them. They gone after 5 seconds. So yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Can you please give that man a prize?
So I think that if you're not doing the A bits, I mean, what's the point of doing anything else, right? If you're gonna get skipped, if you don't put that effort, and I think the biggest challenge that I see is that need to open up with those beautiful opening scenes, and setting up the character and all that stuff, and that really hurts performance. So yes, good point, and thank you for that. All right, so let's go. I think this is the last question. Courtney's leading. Marilyn has come back on the frame. So whoever Courtney is,
if DH nails this, can win the whole thing. Yes. It'll be the greatest comeback story since Rocky. So let's do that.
Let's go to the next one. So this is the last one. The ABCDs are: 1, creative must-haves; 2, creative recommendations; 3, a checklist; last one, rules. You don't get prizes in a learner's test. All right. Amazing. Okay, so I think let's just clarify for the ones who said must have and rules and such. So again, purely recommendations, right? You can use what you want to use. It's really about finding what works for you. It's about taking all those little data points that we found and making them work for yourself. So purely recommendations, and at no point do we want clients making checkpoints when they're approving, and we don't want creative leaders to do the same thing for their teams. So recommendations all the way. So who got it right? Amazing. So what I'm going to do for who got it right? I'm trying to find the people who got right who hasn't got a prize. Oh, yeah. All right. So, Toinette, the thing is that she's a client and we work solid. She knows pretty much everything. So I need to find, do you have a difficult question?
Well, she nailed it because she used the attention there, right? Everyone's like, oh, she's like, me. So I mean, so she get captured that. But I guess, how do you see the difference between creative recommendations and creative must-haves? And how does that impact your decision-making when building creative for YouTube?
Love it.
Obviously, that's such a long question.
I mean, it is. It is.
For you, it has to be.
But I gave it relative to your ability. So it's a compliment, really.
Please repeat the question.
What do you think are the key differences between a creative recommendation versus a creative must-have? And how does that impact the decisions you make while making creative for YouTube?
I think the recommendations help in giving the steer, and then also just we test a lot to also give guidance on what works and doesn't work. The must-haves is like obviously CI and stuff like that. That's must-haves that we always have in brand.
See, and you pretended like you didn't know. Give this woman a prize. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, so let's see who the final winner is.
So in third place,
Marilyn Monroe.
Courtney.
Daniel. All right, so for the first prize, there is a different prize, which, Daniel, can you put up your hand so that they can see you and they can give you the...
He's got both hands away. He really wants that prize.
And I think for Courtney and Marilyn Monroe, maybe we can just give them like one of the swags that we have there just as a well done. Amazing. Can you switch us back onto the presentation? So I think while we're waiting for the chairs, I just want to open up the floor to any questions on the ABCDs. Was there any questions, any comments that you want to ask? Thanks.
Question there?
Is that TJ?
Yeah.
Ah, hello.
What up?
Good, good.
Is this a collection of Artwell's friends? Like, what is this? Okay, fine. TJ.
Pretty much. He just invited us.
Yeah, I can see that. It's the Artwell show.
Yeah, I've got a question with regards to, let's say, that first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. And branding particularly. Yeah. Because I suppose my question is a question of distinction. Yeah? And say you have a brand within a particular category. The number one distinctive, well, not number one distinctive, one of the ways that a brand can be distinct is obviously the CI and the look and feel and all of that stuff. But how do you ensure distinction within what the brands are saying as well? right? So if everyone is doing the same thing, then how do you stand out from the competition?
Yeah.
That's the first question.
That's a great question. Can I answer that while the answer's in the head? So the thing is, if we look at like the structures right now, not a lot of people are doing the branding thing, but the reality is when everybody starts doing it, we're gonna reach that same equilibrium, and then we're gonna have to find more data to find, because that's just the way it is, right? We're gonna find more compelling ways and more interesting ways, but also remember that how you brand up front, it can also be very unique, right? Because it's about finding your branding elements that work well. Like I said, with Nike, they can use the shortcut, whereas Komandi Porto can't, right? Yeah. But once everybody starts doing it, then it loses its effectiveness. Then we need to find. But right now, not a lot of people are doing that at all. Actually, even like the things like see and say, very few people are doing that. Call to actions, the number is less than 20% of the videos all on YouTube. Less than 20%. I'm even talking performance videos, right? So there's lots of opportunity for now.
Okay, word. Then the second question is, okay, when we talk about branding, and I mean, I'm asking the question so that the answer can be said. When we're talking about branding, right, most brands have the logo, they have a payoff line, they have a campaign line, right? Yeah. That's already 10 seconds. Yeah. When you're talking about, let's say, front loading, for example. Or even if you're doing, let's say, a 6-second bumper, and you have logo, campaign line, payoff line, and that's the ad done. Yeah. Right? When we're talking about being singular in your messaging, is it more about what would benefit the audience, or what the person would find interesting, or what is the message? What can it be? The kinds of things.
So I don't think I think that's a test and learn question, and I think it's going to be different for every single client. I don't think there's a one-off answer for that. But it's definitely, the answer I can give you is to test and learn and test different iterations. Use the audience retention curve and use all the other tools that we have to find the answers. Because something like that is much more nuanced, especially when with different clients and also different verticals. For finance, it would be completely different than for entertainment. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool. I think we can get started.
Yeah. Sure.